Pleased to have you.
Dave Ridley here, reporting in for RidleyReport.com. Looks like we have an interesting person here at the... Mr. Ridge, is that you? Mr. Ridge, former Tom Ridge, correct? Former Director of Homeland Security? Mr. Ridge is apparently going to be involved in some sort of event with Senator McCain shortly, and is conferring with people who I assume are McCain folks regarding this. Dave Ridley. I run a little internet report here called the Ridley Report, and I was just wondering, you're here to support Senator McCain?
I'm here to support Senator John McCain.
Oh, okay.
John and I both got elected. Actually, it's 25th anniversary. We got elected in '82. We began serving in Congress in January of '83. A long-time friend, but obviously I'm here because I think his character, his candor, and his courage, political and intellectual, are all the qualities we need in a leader. And that, coupled with the fact that I believe he's the only one really qualified to do the job from day one as Commander-in-Chief, I'm here.
What are your thoughts with regard to the candidate Ron Paul?
I started with Ron Paul initially way back in '82, at some point in time in my service with him. I haven't paid too much attention to his campaign. I do admire his ability to use the internet, such a aggressive and a successful fundraising machine. I think we'd all like to get rid of the IRS, but the practicality is that you need some means, and whether you're going to privatize taxes and collection or not. So he's come up with some, conceptual ideas that everybody could warmly embrace. Practically, everybody knows in the real politic and the real world, some of the things he suggested, some changes could be made. But obviously, got 10% in Iowa, so some people out there maybe are more hopeful than anything else. So I think he needs to be respected because he's running through one of the most arduous processes going, and that's running for President of the United States, so I tip my hat to him.
Switching gears to just one last question, I think, and that is, as you may be aware, New Hampshire has rejected the Department of Homeland Security mandated Real ID. Or I guess it's not mandated by the Department of Homeland Security, it's administered by them, overseen by them. They've rejected it, refused to go along with that. What's your reaction to that?
Well, it's interesting. Some people think it was really a de facto national identification card. And one of the reasons that many states, not only New Hampshire, rejected it, it was seen as an unfunded mandate. Former governor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, before the president called me down to become Secretary of Homeland Security, I was governor for 6 years, 9 months, and 5 days, and I loved every minute of it. But I did not like unfunded mandates. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to tell me that I got to restructure the whole system I have with regard to driver's license, which is a very costly enterprise, then I think you ought to help me pay for it. And that there's a lot of reasons to use driver's licenses in a way that, with biometrics, with certain standard pieces of information that help across borders, the New Hampshire border, the Massachusetts border, for law enforcement purposes. A lot of good reasons to have it, but it's a multi-billion-dollar price tag that they're passing on to the states. And if I were governor, I wouldn't be happy with it either.
So you're still in favor of Real ID, but you think it should be funded by the feds?
I'm in favor of a form of, I'm personally in favor of some form of national identification. It was interesting. I was in Great Britain about a year and a half ago, and they did a survey because they were contemplating a voluntary national ID. And the citizens of Great Britain said, well, it might help combat terrorism. In ascending order of importance: combat terrorism, combat crime, combat fraud against government, and the number one reason that the people who were supporting it thought it was a good idea, to help defeat all those who steal your identity theft. So some form of ID card that tells whomever sees the ID card, you are a citizen, you're here legally, blah, blah, blah. I can see a lot of uses for that.
Now, you took an oath to the Constitution on more than one occasion, correct?
I took it several occasions. Felt political office 8 times.
And you served as a Marine also, correct?
I was in the infantry army.
Oh, thank you.
Bravo. Yeah.
Thank you for your service. But I am a little concerned with where in the Constitution, though, that something like the Real ID would be authorized. I mean, where would the...
Well, it's interesting. I think there have been many occasions in the past when the federal government has said to, and this is my view, not John McCain's, so I want to make that very clear.
Oh, yeah,
okay? This is my view, not Senator McCain's. But I've been a governor, I've been a congressman, I've been in law enforcement. I've seen this issue from many, many different angles. and the notion that there would be some means of identification standard in this country, so we could determine who's here legally, who's not here legally. I mean, if you want to combat illegal immigration, this is one of the many pieces that we might want to use in order to deal with that. If you want to help deal with identity theft, and one of the easiest ways to deal with identity theft is have a consistent, biometrically based form of identification. Again, privacy concerns are legit, and the use of biometrics is something that has to be looked at very, very carefully. I think there are a lot of reasons to accept the concept. I think there are a lot of concerns, particularly privacy and the funding, that have to be worked out before you actually get the country generally to embrace it.
Well, Mr. Ridge, I feel you've dodged the question a little bit, but I've taken up enough of your time, and I do appreciate you speaking with me.
Well, it was a great pleasure to talk with you as well.
All right.
There's no specific provision in the Constitution that says you can or cannot, but there are many ways and many times where the federal government works with state governments in order to solve a national problem. And I think there are many national problems that could be solved by some form, whether it's real ID or some other form of standard identification to verify citizenship, as well as some other things. We've got a long way to go because there's still people who are a little concerned about how it would be used and about privacy. I get it.
All right. Well, I appreciate your interest in that aspect of it.
Not a problem.
Thank you, Mr. Ridge.
You bet. Good talk with you.
Take care.
NH Liberty is where you want to be.
nhliberty.org.
Hello, I'm Rosie the Riveter. Sort of. You may remember me from
nhfree.com.
But now I spend most of my time on the new political forum at
nhliberty.org. nhliberty.org.
It's a place where all peaceful discussion is welcome.
nhliberty.org.
Is the fastest growing political forum in New Hampshire.
nhliberty.org.
Has lots of nice people. NH Liberty is where you want to be.
nhliberty.org.